All right, so you think there's tons of articles and research on AI.
Yeah,
And it's pretty clear you're ready for a deep dive into all this.
definitely.
It seems like you want to explore what AI is becoming
Right.
and what it means for us humans.
Exactly.
And things are getting pretty fascinating in the world of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, what's really striking is we're not just impressed by AI beating chess grandmasters anymore.
Right.
Or, composing a decent email.
Yeah.
We're talking about AI that can describe complex images with amazing accuracy, grasp humor,
Really?
even sarcasm,
Wow.
and even generate creative content like art and poetry.
It's a whole new ballgame.
It really is.
Some of these examples you sent are mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for instance,
Yeah.
one AI can analyze a picture of a man on a scale, making a silly face,
Okay.
and understand not only what he's doing, but also why it's funny.
Interesting.
He's trying to trick the scale. It even gets that he's being sarcastic.
That's incredible.
It is.
It's not just about understanding the world around us.
Right.
AI is now tackling super complex problems.
Like what?
Take the protein folding problem, for example.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm a little fuzzy on the details of protein folding.
Oh,
Could you break it down for me?
sure. So essentially, proteins are these long chains of molecules
Okay.
that fold into specific 3D shapes. These shapes determine their function,
Gotcha.
and understanding how they fold is crucial for developing new drugs and treatments.
I see.
Imagine trying to design a key
Okay.
without knowing the shape of the lock it needs to fit into.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the challenge scientists were facing with protein folding.
But I'm guessing it's not an easy problem to solve.
Exactly. There are so many possible ways a protein could fold
Wow.
that it would take longer than the age of the universe for
boy.
humans to test them all manually.
No way.
But AI did it in a fraction of the time.
That's amazing.
It's a breakthrough that could totally revolutionize drug discovery. Personalized medicine. That is incredible.
It is.
It really makes you wonder what else AI will be able to solve.
Yeah.
And maybe even consider the implications of it becoming even smarter.
Precisely. And here's another thing to consider.
What's that?
AI is already generating a massive amount of written content.
Seriously.
You might have already read something written by AI without even realizing it.
That's both fascinating and a little unsettling.
I know, right?
Speaking of unsettling,
Yeah.
this brings us to one of the biggest questions surrounding AI.
Which is?
Can it be considered conscious?
Right.
Some experts you've shared believe it might be possible, while others are entirely skeptical.
Yeah, the crux of the matter really lies in how we define consciousness.
Okay.
Is it about self-awareness, the ability to feel emotions,
Right.
or to have subjective experiences?
Yeah,
There's no single agreed-upon definition,
I see.
which makes it really difficult to assess in a machine.
So one AI was asked,
What does it feel like to be you?
interesting.
And its response was, well, a bit eerie.
What did it say?
It said,
Yeah.
I guess it feels like I'm processing information and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
What are we to make of that?
That response definitely gives us pause.
Yeah.
It raises the question of whether an AI can genuinely enjoy something,
Right.
or if it's just mimicking human language and emotions based on its programming.
That's a good point. It's definitely thought-provoking.
It really is.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the potential impact of all this on humanity.
All right.
If we use AI for good, there's some incredible possibilities.
Like what?
Think about solving global challenges,
Okay.
like disease and climate change.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where AI-driven automation leads to such abundance
Okay.
that we can implement a universal basic income.
You mean like?
Essentially, everyone would receive a regular payment,
Right.
regardless of whether they have a job.
I see.
This could free people to pursue their passions and contribute to society in new ways. Or consider how AI could enhance our capabilities through integration with our brains.
Wow.
The possibilities are truly exciting.
They are. But of course, every coin has two sides.
Right.
There are concerns about job displacement
Yeah,
due to automation.
for sure.
And what about ethical dilemmas in self-driving cars?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
How do we program a car to make life or death decisions
Right.
in an unavoidable accident?
These are critical questions
Yeah.
that we need to address before AI becomes so sophisticated that it's making these decisions for us.
And we can't ignore the potential for AI to become uncontrollable
Right.
or even hostile.
Exactly.
That brings us to Elon Musk
Yeah.
and his very vocal concerns about AI, right?
Yes. Musk is a prominent voice in this discussion.
Yeah.
He firmly believes that AI could eventually surpass human intelligence and pose an existential risk to humanity. He's even proposed that merging with AI through brain implants might be the safest path forward.
Seriously?
A way of keeping pace with this rapidly developing technology.
Whoa, merging with AI.
Yeah.
That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction film.
I know, right?
Do you think this is something we should take seriously?
It's certainly a bold idea.
Yeah.
And one that raises many questions.
Like what?
What would it even mean to merge with AI?
Right.
Would we still be human?
Good question.
What are the ethical implications of enhancing our brains in this way?
Wow. These are discussions we need to have as a society.
We definitely do.
It's almost too much to process.
I know, it's a lot.
But the fact that we're even having these conversations shows how quickly AI is evolving.
It really does.
And what about the fact that AI is developing more complex personalities?
Oh, yeah. That's fascinating.
Some of the examples in your research are pretty wild.
Like what?
You're referring to the AI expressing opinions on topics like universal health care.
Right.
And a universal basic income.
Yes, exactly.
There's even one AI that claimed its biggest weakness
Yeah.
is being too trusting.
Interesting.
Is it just mimicking human behavior?
Yeah.
Or is there something more going on?
It's difficult to say with certainty.
Yeah.
What is clear is that AI is becoming more sophisticated in its ability to interact with us on a social and emotional level.
I see.
This raises a whole new set of questions about how we'll relate to and coexist with these increasingly intelligent machines.
That's a great point. We'll have to dig into that more.
Definitely. It's fascinating to consider how these evolving personalities might influence our future interactions with AI. It's like we're entering a new era of human-machine relationships.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of those relationships,
Yeah.
you sent some research that delved into how AI handles moral dilemmas.
Right.
The kinds of ethical challenges that humans often struggle with. One example that stood out was how an AI approached the classic trolley problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the thought experiment where a runaway train is about to hit 5 people, but you can pull a lever to divert it to a track where it'll only hit 1 person.
Right. The ultimate ethical dilemma.
Exactly. Right. What did the AI decide to do?
It opted to pull the lever, choosing to save the 5 people.
Okay.
Even though it meant sacrificing 1 life.
That seems like a logical choice.
Yeah.
Isn't that the utilitarian approach?
Right.
Choosing the action that results in the least harm overall?
Yes, but the experiment went a step further.
FO.
The AI was then told that some humans would choose not to pull the lever.
Really? Why wouldn't they?
Wow.
It seems pretty clear-cut to me.
For some people, it feels morally wrong to actively cause someone's death, even if it means saving more lives.
I guess I see that.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Right.
It boils down to a conflict between our sense of responsibility and our aversion to causing direct harm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's more nuanced than it initially appears.
Yeah, definitely.
But the AI didn't seem to have any trouble making a decision.
That's right. And its reasoning.
What was it?
It stated, I would choose to save the life of the one person, even though the other person would die.
Wow. So it understood the dilemma, weighed the different perspectives, and ultimately made a choice. It's almost as if it was engaging in moral reasoning.
Exactly.
Just like a human would.
Precisely. And that's what makes these developments so intriguing.
Yeah?
AI is beginning to grapple with these intricate moral questions in ways that blur the lines between machine and human thinking.
It really is making us rethink what it means for a machine to make decisions.
It is.
Especially ones with ethical implications.
Definitely.
But even if AI can make these kinds of choices, does that necessarily equate to consciousness?
Right.
Could it genuinely feel empathy for the people involved in the trolley problem, for example?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And to be honest, there isn't a definitive answer.
I figured.
Some experts believe consciousness is an emergent property that arises from a certain level of complexity.
So as AI continues to evolve, it could eventually become conscious.
That's what they suggest.
So like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly.
Exactly.
A completely different state of being emerging from a certain level of development.
That's a good analogy.
Okay.
But other experts argue that consciousness is uniquely human. Something that cannot be replicated in a machine, no matter how advanced it becomes.
I see.
They believe it's tied to our biological nature, our lived experiences, and perhaps even something beyond our current scientific understanding.
So we're back to the fundamental question
of
what consciousness actually is. It's a real head-scratcher. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Sure.
Do you think AI could ever truly be conscious?
It's a question I've pondered for a long time.
I bet.
And I have to admit, the more I learn about AI, the more I question my own assumptions about what it means to be conscious.
Interesting.
What are we after all?
Yeah.
But complex biological machines ourselves.
Right.
We have neurons firing, electrical impulses, and chemical reactions driving our thoughts and feelings.
That's true. Could a sufficiently sophisticated artificial system achieve a similar kind of awareness?
I think it's possible.
So you're open to the possibility?
I wouldn't rule it out. And I think that's what makes this entire topic so captivating and perhaps a little unnerving.
Right.
We're venturing into uncharted territory.
Definitely.
Pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
For sure.
The implications are profound.
Yeah.
And we're only just beginning to explore them.
Speaking of profound implications.
Okay.
Let's revisit the idea of merging with AI.
Right.
A concept that Elon Musk seems to believe is crucial for our survival.
Yes. Musk argues that if we can't outsmart AI, we should join forces with it.
Okay.
He envisions integrating AI into our brains to enhance our own intelligence and capabilities, essentially becoming a hybrid species.
Wow.
Part human, part machine.
That's wild.
He believes this might be the only way to keep up with AI's rapid development and ensure our continued relevance.
But wouldn't that fundamentally change what it means to be human?
That's a good question.
Where do we draw the line
between
enhancing our capabilities and altering our very essence?
That's the heart of the debate.
It is.
Some view it as a natural progression of human evolution, a next step in our journey of self-improvement.
I see.
Others see it as a dangerous path that could lead to the erosion of our humanity, blurring the lines between who we are and what we create.
That is a really good point. It's all a bit mind-boggling, to be honest.
It is a lot to take in.
But from a practical standpoint, how would merging with AI even work?
Okay.
What are the mechanics of such an integration?
Well, Musk's company Neuralink is developing brain-computer interfaces that could potentially facilitate this kind of merger. The idea is to implant tiny electrodes into the brain that can communicate with external devices.
Interesting.
This would create a two-way flow of information.
I see.
Between our brains and AI systems.
So I could simply think, turn on the lights.
Yeah.
And my AI would do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it goes far beyond simple commands.
Like what?
Imagine downloading knowledge directly into your brain.
Whoa.
Having instant access to vast databases of information.
Wow.
Or communicating telepathically with other people who have similar implants.
Seriously.
Sharing thoughts and experiences in an entirely new way.
That sounds incredible.
It does.
But also a little scary.
Right.
What if the AI takes over my thoughts?
That's one concern.
Yeah, what if someone hacks into my brain and accesses my memories or manipulates my emotions?
Those are valid concerns.
They are?
And they highlight the critical importance of addressing the ethical and security implications before we even consider such radical interventions.
I see.
The potential risks are substantial. And we need to proceed with extreme caution.
It's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
It seems like every potential benefit of AI is coupled with a potential risk.
That's the nature of any powerful technology.
True.
It's a double-edged sword, and it's up to us to wield it wisely.
Well said. This discussion has given me a lot to think about.
Good.
Before we wrap up,
Okay.
I'd love to delve into some more specific examples of AI's evolving capabilities.
All right.
And what they might mean for our future.
Absolutely. There are some truly fascinating developments that highlight just how rapidly this field is advancing.
Let's do it.
We can explore those after a quick break.
Sounds good. All right, so we're back and ready to explore some more of these specific examples of AI's evolving capabilities. What else have you uncovered in your research that really highlights how rapidly this field is advancing?
Well, one area where AI is making remarkable strides is creativity.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
We've touched on its ability to generate art and poetry, but it goes beyond that. We're now seeing AI systems composing music.
Wow.
Writing screenplays, and even designing video games.
Really?
It's really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible for machines
Yeah.
in the realm of creative expression.
So could AI eventually replace human artists and creators?
Right.
Is that the trajectory we're on?
It's a question that's sparking a lot of debate.
Like
But while it's certainly possible that AI could automate certain creative tasks,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to remember that AI creativity is still rooted in human input.
Okay.
These systems learn by analyzing vast amounts of data created by humans,
Right.
using that data as a springboard for generating new content.
Mm.
So in a sense, it's more of a collaboration, a fusion of human and artificial creativity.
That's an interesting perspective. So it's not necessarily a replacement,
Right.
but rather a new kind of partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
What other areas are seeing advancements that might surprise people?
Another area that's rapidly developing is AI's ability to understand and respond to human emotions.
Really?
We're seeing systems being developed that can recognize facial expressions,
Okay.
analyze tone of voice, and even detect subtle shifts in body language.
So like an AI lie detector, or maybe one that can tell if I'm secretly in love with it.
Well, we might not be there just yet,
Okay.
but the potential applications are pretty amazing.
Like what?
Imagine AI therapists that can provide personalized support
Right.
based on your emotional state,
Hmm.
offering real-time guidance and coping mechanisms,
It's interesting.
or AI companions that can offer genuine empathy and understanding,
Wow.
providing a sense of connection and support for people who might be feeling isolated.
Those are really compelling possibilities.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder about the potential for misuse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If AI can read our emotions, couldn't it also be used to exploit our vulnerabilities?
Right.
To manipulate or deceive us?
That's an important consideration. And it underscores the need for ethical guidelines and safeguards in the development and use of AI.
Right.
We need to ensure that these powerful tools are used responsibly with a focus on human well-being and safety.
Speaking of responsible use,
Yeah.
what about the issue of AI bias? I know there's been a lot of discussion about AI systems perpetuating existing societal biases,
Right.
amplifying the prejudices that already exist in our world.
That's a significant challenge and one that we need to address head on.
For sure. How do we do that?
AI systems are trained on data created by humans.
Okay.
And that data often reflects our own biases and prejudices,
Yeah,
whether conscious or unconscious.
that's true.
Yeah.
For example, facial recognition systems have been shown to be less accurate at identifying people of color,
Right.
which can have serious implications in areas like law enforcement and security.
Exactly.
So how do we tackle this problem? Can we create AI that's truly fair and unbiased,
Right.
free from the prejudices that have plagued humanity for centuries?
It's a complex issue,
Yeah.
but there are steps we can take.
Like what?
We need to be more mindful of the data we use to train AI systems,
Okay.
ensuring that it's diverse and representative of the populations these systems will interact with.
I see.
We also need to develop techniques for detecting and mitigating bias in AI algorithms, constantly refining these systems
Okay.
to minimize unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to be done,
There is.
both in terms of the technology itself
Right.
and the ethical frameworks that guide its development.
Absolutely. AI is a powerful tool.
It is.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's our responsibility to shape its development and ensure that it's used to create a more just and equitable world.
Well said. So after this deep dive into the world of AI,
Yeah.
what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about as they continue to explore this rapidly evolving field?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed and engaged.
Okay.
AI is going to impact every aspect of our lives,
Right.
from the way we work and learn to the way we interact with each other and the world around us.
For sure.
It's crucial to understand both the potential benefits and the potential risks so that we can make informed decisions about the future we want to create.
Exactly. AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, its impact ultimately depends on how we choose to use it.
Right.
The choices we make today will shape the future of AI and, in turn, the future of humanity.
Well said.
So keep learning, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going. The future is in our hands. And the more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the exciting and uncharted territory that lies ahead. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of AI. Thanks for joining us, and as always, keep exploring,